good to be true, it'll eventually be banned by the government. A few days ago, Italy banned DeepSeek outright and removed it from the app stores, followed by bans within government agencies in the United States, Australia, and Taiwan. To make matters worse, this US senator wants to pass a law that bans all Chinese AI and make the punishment for using it up to 20 years in prison. Meanwhile, OpenAI has been scrambling to Zuckerberg features from its competitors in a last-ditch effort to remain at the forefront of the AI zeitgeist. They just dropped the new O3 mini model as well as a version that can get high, but not only that, they dropped a bonus feature for the $200 pro users called Deep Research, an interesting name choice that not only tries to steal the thunder from DeepSeek by literally copying the UI exactly, but most people don't even realize that Google Gemini also released a feature with the exact same name that does the exact same thing months ago. But luckily, open source is continuing to win, and it only took developers 12 hours to speedrun an open source version of OpenAI's Deep Research. If you blinked at all in the last few days, you likely missed some crazy new tech, and in today's video, we'll break it all down. It is February 4th, 2025, and you're watching the Code Report. Sam Altman just did.
I heard something with the tariffs or whatever. Did that not get? Did they backtrack on that? I was my eyes were like this morning. And I was looking at Twitter, and we were saying that they didn't do it.
A Reddit AMA and made a shocking statement by.
Chat. Also, people were putting screenshots of the Canadian dollar going way down. Look at the chart. Bro, it went down like 1/20th of a fucking dollar. Like a normal fluctuation. Like, bro, what the fuck?
Saying we've been on the wrong side of history and need to figure out a different open source strategy. What they should do is create a new company called Closed AI where they open source everything, but in all likelihood it's just corporate damage control talk, because a year ago OpenAI could do no wrong, but after going for profit and losing to DeepSeek, they're like Stella trying to get her groove back. But they did release the new O3 models, not to be confused with O1 or 4.0, and O3 Mini is legitimately impressive. It's a fast, cheap, and free reasoning model that's on par with DeepSeek R1, and beats it on many benchmarks, and even the pores can use it on the ChatGPT free plan. For the last few days, the internet has been debating which one is better, but there's no definitive answer on which one has the best vibes. I put them to the test this weekend myself along with Claude Sonnet by having them build a 2D game in Godot, which is an awesome game engine with its own language called GDScript.
But isn't open source always going to be kind of like ahead? Like in terms of when they want something to happen, it can happen a little bit faster, no?
Had them build a 2D pixel art. When it comes to art, Claude was the best, with DeepSeek in second and O3 last. But to be honest, all three of them sucked pretty bad. And personally, I refuse to call anything a true AGI until it can code a GTA 7 caliber game. But when it comes to the actual game code, well, I got similar results. Claude was still the most useful, followed by DeepSeek and then O3. The problem with DeepSeek, though, is that the website was constantly overloaded, and now the Chinese have my game idea. But I think a lot of people will disagree with me putting O3 last year. On the internet, there are many reports of O3 outperforming DeepSeek by a wide margin, and ultimately, it just comes down to choosing the right weapon to murder your code with. Despite OpenAI's comeback, the DeepSeek founder has become a national hero in China, and brought great honor to his hometown in Guangdong. The other big OpenAI feature, though, is Deep Research. Like I mentioned, Google Gemini also has this feature, and to be honest, it's pretty awesome. Instead of just hallucinating slop from the base model, it'll go out and find a bunch of slop from the internet to give you a more accurate response, and that could be incredibly useful if you're doing something like a competitor analysis to start a business, or if you're a lawyer with a huge case file, or a doctor trying to analyze a confusing medical history. In fact, my doctor subscribes to ChatGPT Pro, and after checking out this mole on my arm, he recommended that we amputate my head. But unfortunately, my lawyer also uses ChatGPT Pro, and he just got me 10 years in prison for a parking ticket. And Sam Altman, who's definitely not known to overpromise and underdeliver, has said that Deep Research can do a single-digit percentage of all economically viable jobs in the world, which is big if true, and would make OpenAI the most valuable company in the world if it's the one supplying the AI for that. But if you don't want to be on the wrong side of history like Sam Altman, you should use open source tech to get your news.
I beg you. When they come up with the xQc live, xQc AI, please chat, watch me, I beg you. Chat, please. Otherwise, I'm replacing xQchat with xQchat AI. Point 3, bitch ass. I will have AI chat instead.
Like Daily.dev, the sponsor of today's video. It's an entirely free tool that curates all the best content for programmers on the internet. Not only is it loved by over 1 million developers, but you can find its entire application suite on GitHub. The best way.
If you think you cannot be replaced, chat, always remember this, chat. I can correspond the bot with the footage of my live stream and your chatting experience, what you were saying in chat, coordinate that with enough data, and replicate what you would do with my future content. Therefore, I can have you entirely in AI.
xQc, can you or chat see these?
Way to experience it is with their browser extension or the iOS and Android apps on mobile. Most importantly though, it's a place where developers can suffer and learn together. A place to discover the latest trends in technology and discuss them with like-minded professionals. And they just launched a new Plus subscription with features like Clickbait Shield and a bunch of other perks. And for the next 72 hours, you can get a bonus and the first month free by entering the code Fireship. Use the link below to begin some healthy suffering on Daily.dev. This has been the Code Report. Thanks.
Interesting. All right. It's going to be a little bit bad until I drink water.
The DeepSeek rabbit hole just keeps getting
Is a
deeper and
hippopotamus
deeper.
a
After being
hippopotamus
deeply
or
wounded
just
by
a really cool hippopotamus?
Hold on.
DeepSeek last week, the DeepSeek rabbit hole just keeps getting deeper and deeper. After being deeply wounded by DeepSeek last week, OpenAI is now reportedly accusing them of IP theft. And to make matters even worse, a second Chinese model just hit the timeline. If you're just waking up from a coma, the legend goes like this. A Chinese hedge fund built a state-of-the-art reasoning model that surpassed OpenAI 01 and only spent $5.5 million to train it, then gave the world a 100% discount code to use it. That was devastating to big tech and especially OpenAI, who have been gradually trying to convince people that AI is hard and we need things like $500 billion Stargate data centers. Now, in order to get the AI hype train back on track, the new White House AI czar and PayPal mafia member David Sachs just went on the news and said they have substantial evidence that DeepSeek stole OpenAI's outputs to fine-tune their models, a technique known as distillation that is strictly forbidden in their terms of service. The irony here is not only palpable, one might describe it as artificial super irony. You might remember how OpenAI vacuumed up the entire internet and all its copyrighted materials without asking anybody for permission. Elon accused them of scraping Twitter.
Oh, let me get chat. This is the brain rotted DMCA loophole of content. Oh yeah, let me react to your content. Wait a minute. Now I'm DMCAing you because you have my content on your platform. Holy classic. That's classic.
George R.R. Martin and a bunch of other authors are suing, among many other lawsuits around the world. But I need to let you in on a tech bro founder secret. We do shady stuff and then ask for forgiveness later, because once a company reaches critical mass, there's no stopping it. Uber and Airbnb are prime examples, and thus far, OpenAI has mostly prevailed in their copyright infringement legal battles. In today's video, we'll take a closer look at the technical details of DeepSeek, how it bypassed CUDA, and try to find out if it actually ripped off OpenAI. It is January 29th, 2025, and you're watching the Code Report. My conspiracy theory is that OpenAI has been DeepSeek all along, and this was just the most genius marketing trick of all time to assert their dominance. I wouldn't put it past Chief Persuasion Officer Sam Altman.
He's just a con man, and he lies to everyone.
But now, OpenAI and Microsoft are accusing DeepSeek of distillation, where you take one big expensive model like O1 and use its outputs to transfer knowledge to a smaller model. Thus far, they haven't provided any hard evidence, but there are screenshots like this going around the internet where DeepSeek provides a response that should only come from ChatGPT.
Sure.
That's not a smoking gun though, because this type of content is all over the internet now, so DeepSeek could have learned it organically. However, Microsoft, which provides the servers for much of OpenAI's compute, said they observed someone in China extracting large volumes of data from the OpenAI API, and they believe these accounts may be linked to DeepSeek. In other words, DeepSeek is basically Robin Hood stealing from the rich to give to the poor. Distillation generally provides...
I mean, so what? Seems legit to me. That's what they all do. So what?
Better results compared to reinforcement learning, where you actually feed the model new data with a reward function. Distillation is not controversial, and DeepSeek has models distilled from Llama and Qwen. In fact, you can even distill OpenAI models as long as you don't use the API to build a rival model. And
they take their reasoning model and they make a better model. So why can't OpenAI do the same thing with their own data? I don't get it. Why are they losing the race to themselves?
that appears to be the root of OpenAI's beef. And get this, Alibaba just released Qwen 2.5 Max just minutes ago, and although it's not a reasoning model, it's an open model that beats DeepSeek v3, Claude, and GPT-4o on these benchmarks. And not only that, but yet another Chinese model called Kimi K1.5 just came out and apparently beats OpenAI 01. We're now in a China versus China AI race with the United States falling behind. Meanwhile, Europe is focused on other technological innovations like bottle caps you can't take off. Many people have complained that DeepSeek is highly censored, absurd, but it's relatively easy to jailbreak if you're a senior prompt engineer. But speaking of irony, last year Midjourney accused Stability AI of image theft, but none of that matters now because DeepSeek also just released the Jana series models, which do diffusion-based image generation, and while the quality is not as good as Stable Diffusion or Midjourney, it's yet another open source model you can use commercially, and that's good news for humanity. But another interesting detail about DeepSeek is that it achieved 10x better efficiency than other models, in part by not using CUDA, NVIDIA's proprietary platform for running code on a GPU. Instead, they used NVIDIA
Can you fuck it?
parallel thread execution directly, which conceptually would be similar to building a website with assembly code, and is just another example of how cracked these DeepSeek engineers really are. Now, another major criticism of DeepSeek is that when you use it on the web, all your prompts, data, and keystrokes go to China. If you care about privacy though, you shouldn't be using the internet anyway. Instead, you should use it locally like I did in this video on my second channel. But the most important trend here is that open source is winning. That means if you're a developer, now is the time to start building products people love, and you can do that with a truly awesome open source tool called PostHog, the sponsor of today's video. It's like a Swiss Army case or expired free plan. Give PostHog a try with the link below. This has been the Code Report. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.